Dr. Miller hadn't slept in 3 days. Empty coffee cups littered his desk in the underground command center as he studied the latest battle data. Something wasn't adding up. The ancient defense systems weren't just working, they were improving. And the soldiers operating them were learning impossibly fast. Dr. Miller. Captain Thomas rushed into the lab, his eyes wide with excitement. You need to see this. He led Miller to the weapon testing area, where a captured piece of Empire technology lay on a table. A young soldier stood nearby, hands hovering over the alien device. Watch this, Captain Thomas said. Go ahead, Private. The soldier touched the device, and it hummed to life, its strange symbols glowing blue. The private's eyes seemed to glaze over for a moment. Then he began operating the alien technology as if he'd used it his whole life. How is this possible? Miller whispered, reaching for his tablet to record data. That's not even the weird part, Thomas replied. Every soldier we've tested can do this, some better than others, but they all can interface with their tech naturally. Miller's fingers flew across his tablet, pulling up genetic data from his earlier research. The DNA changes, he muttered. All those previous invasions, they weren't just random attacks. They were changing us. General Thompson joined them, her uniform dusty from a recent inspection of the defense perimeter. Changing us how? Each invasion left traces of their technology in our genetic code, Miller explained, showing them the data. It's like humanity has been downloading their knowledge for thousands of years, building up an immunity to their control systems. He pointed to the soldiers still working with the alien device. We're not just fighting them. We're adapting to their technology in real time. Every piece of tech we capture, every system we study, it's like our DNA remembers how to use it. Can the Empire know about this? Thompson asked. Miller shook his head. I don't think so. Their transmission suggested they see us as just another harvest. They have no idea they've been accidentally upgrading humanity for millennia. An alarm blared through the facility. The Empire was launching another attack, but this time something was different. Their energy weapons had changed frequency, adapting to Earth's defenses. They're learning too, Thompson said grimly. But as the new attack hit Earth's shields, something remarkable happened. Without any input from human operators, the ancient defense systems shifted frequency as well, matching and countering the Empire's adaptation. Miller stared at his readings in amazement. It's not just the soldiers. The defense systems themselves recognize our DNA. They're working with us, letting us control them instinctively. How many Empire ships have we captured so far? Thompson asked. 3 smaller vessels, Thomas reported. Our pilots figured out how to fly them within minutes of boarding. Miller's tablet beeped with an incoming analysis. His eyes widened as he read the results. General, you need to see this. The Empire's biological signatures, they're structured exactly like their technology. They're not just using machines. They are machines, Thompson finished. At least partially. They've merged with their technology. Yes, but that's their weakness, Miller exclaimed. They're locked into their own systems, their own way of thinking. But humans, we can adapt to any system. We're not bound by their limitations. The facility shook as another attack hit the shields. But this time, the defenders were ready. Around the world, soldiers interfaced with captured Empire technology, turning the invaders' own weapons against them. In orbit, the smaller captured ships rose to join the battle, piloted by humans who understood the alien tech better than its creators. General Thompson watched the tactical display as humanity's counterattack began. Send word to all commands. Operation Turning Point is now active. We found their weakness. Let's show them what humanity can really do. For the first time since the invasion began, a smile crossed her face. The Empire had spent thousands of years accidentally creating their perfect enemy. Now it was time to make them regret it. The Empire's command ship hung in orbit like a dark cloud, its surface bristling with weapons. Below in Earth's atmosphere, 3 captured Empire vessels darted through the sky, their human pilots pushing the alien craft beyond their designed limits. "Strike Team Alpha, begin your attack run," General Thompson ordered from the command center. On her display, dozens of green dots, Earth's forces, moved into position around the massive Empire vessel. The alien ship's commander appeared on their screens again, his metallic features twisted in what might have been amusement. "Your resistance is impressive, but futile. No species has ever mastered our technology so quickly. Perhaps we should have harvested you sooner." Dr. Miller studied the transmission from his station. "They still don't understand," he whispered to Thompson. "They think we're just good learners." The first wave of Empire fighters descended toward Earth. But this time, humanity was ready. Hidden defense platforms, buried for thousands of years in Earth's mountains and oceans, powered up. Ancient weapons, now humming with understanding of their human operators, took aim. "All units," Thompson commanded, "execute Operation Lightning Strike." The battle erupted in a display of light and energy that could be seen from the ground. Empire fighters faced weapons designed to counter their every move. Each attack they launched was met with a defense that seemed to know exactly what was coming. In the command center, Miller monitored the biological readings of both human soldiers and Empire forces. "They're pilots. They're trying to adapt their neural patterns, but they can't change fast enough. Our people are literally thinking faster than their technology can process." A massive explosion lit up the sky as the first Empire fighter squadron fell to Earth's defenses. The alien commander's next transmission showed the first signs of concern. "Impossible. Those are prototype quantum shields. How are you predicting their frequency shifts?" Thompson didn't respond to the transmission. "Instead," she ordered, "launch Phase 2. Around the world, buried bunkers opened. Hundreds of fighters rose into the sky. Human aircraft retrofitted with salvaged Empire technology. Their pilots, connected to both human and alien tech, flew with impossible skill." The Empire commander's voice crackled through again, now showing clear signs of stress. "What have you done? Those systems aren't compatible. The energy matrices should be tearing your ships apart." "Should be," Miller muttered with a smile. "But they aren't. Because we're not just copying their technology. We're improving it." The battle intensified. Empire ships, designed to fight enemies who used their technology in expected ways, found themselves facing opponents who could think outside their rigid patterns. Human pilots instinctively understood the alien tech, but weren't bound by its traditional limitations. An Empire cruiser exploded in orbit, torn apart by weapons it was supposed to be immune to. Another fell soon after, its systems overloaded by attacks coming faster than its computers could analyze. "Their main ship is powering up something big," a sensor operator called out. "Energy readings are off the charts." The Empire's command ship began to glow, its surface crackling with power. The alien commander's final transmission was filled with rage. "If we cannot have this world, we will reduce it to ash." But as the massive weapon prepared to fire, something unexpected happened. Deep beneath Earth's oceans, the largest of the ancient defense systems activated. A beam of pure energy shot up from the Pacific, its power greater than anything either side had yet unleashed. The Empire ship's weapon overloaded before it could fire. Secondary explosions rippled across its surface. "Direct hit," the sensor operator shouted. "Their main power core is destabilizing." Miller stared at his readings in amazement. The ancient system, it didn't just attack them. It rewrote their weapons operating protocols in real time. "We didn't just defeat their attack. We turned it back on them," Thompson finished. She watched as the Empire's mighty ship, pride of their fleet, began to break apart. "Send word to all commands. The first battle is ours. But this war isn't over yet." As debris from the Empire ship burned up in Earth's atmosphere like falling stars, humanity prepared for what would come next. They had won their first major victory. But everyone knew the Empire wouldn't take this defeat lightly. The real war was just beginning. Dr. James Miller stared at his computer screen, his coffee growing cold beside him. The patterns in his data made no sense, yet they were too precise to be coincidental. His small office at the Global Research Center was cluttered with ancient tablets, star charts, and geological samples from around the world. Something had happened to Earth every 10,000 years. Something big. He pulled up the latest satellite scans of the Sahara Desert. Deep beneath the sand, perfectly straight lines formed what appeared to be the remains of massive structures. Similar formations had been found under the ice in Antarctica, beneath the Pacific Ocean, and buried in the Amazon rainforest. Dr. Miller, his assistant, knocked on the door. "The World Council is ready for your presentation." He grabbed his tablet and straightened his tie. After 20 years of research, he finally had proof. The walk to the conference room felt longer than usual. Inside, 30 screens showed the faces of world leaders, military commanders, and top scientists. Miller connected his tablet to the display system and took a deep breath. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, "Earth has been invaded before. Not once, not twice, but at least 7 times. And according to my calculations, we're due for another attempt." The room erupted in whispers and concerned murmurs. "Dr. Miller, these are serious claims," said General Thompson, her face stern on the central screen. "What evidence do you have?" Miller brought up a series of images. "These structures we found worldwide all date back to different periods, each approximately 10,000 years apart. The technology used to build them is beyond anything humans were capable of at those times." He switched to the next slide. But here's what's truly fascinating. Each site contains similar warning messages, written in different scripts, but saying the same thing: they will return. The room grew quiet as Miller continued. "We've also found technological fragments at each site. Pieces of metal that don't match any known element on Earth. Energy sources that still function after thousands of years. And most importantly, patterns in our own DNA that suggest someone has been modifying human biology over time." "Modifying our DNA?" A scientist from India leaned forward. "How is that possible?" "We don't fully understand the process," Miller admitted. "But after each invasion, humanity emerged slightly different. Stronger, more resilient, as if each attack was meant to force our evolution in a specific direction." He pulled up a star chart. "And now we've detected something approaching from deep space. The signal matches patterns recorded in ancient texts found at multiple sites. According to these records, it's how previous invasions began." General Thompson's expression hardened. "How long do we have?" "Based on the object's speed and trajectory, 6 months at most." The president of the African Union spoke up. "What are our options?" Miller switched to his final slide. "The good news is we're not starting from zero. Each previous invasion left behind defensive technology. We've been studying it for years without fully understanding its significance. Now we know what it's for." He brought up images of various research sites around the world. "These aren't just ruins. They're dormant defense systems, and for the first time in human history, we might be advanced enough to actually use them." Suddenly, alarms blared through the building. Miller's tablet lit up with urgent notifications. His hands trembled as he read the incoming data. "Dr. Miller." General Thompson's voice was tense. "What's happening?" He looked up at the screens, his face pale. "The signal. It's change. They're accelerating. Something must have alerted them to our discovery." "How long now?" Miller's voice was barely a whisper. 2 months. Maybe less." The room erupted into action. General Thompson began issuing orders. World leaders initiated emergency protocols. Scientists pulled up research data. As chaos unfolded around him, Miller stared at the ancient tablet on his desk. Its warning was clear: they will return. But this time, humanity would be ready. For the first time in Earth's long history of invasions, humans understood what was coming. The question was, would understanding be enough to save them? The Empire's reinforcement fleet was massive, 50 ships strong, each one larger than anything humanity had faced before. They formed a battle line near Jupiter, their weapons charged and ready. Inside the captured station, Dr. Miller worked frantically at the main computer, diving deeper into the Empire's secret files. General Thompson coordinated with Earth's fleet, preparing for what could be their final battle. General. Miller's voice cracked with excitement. I found it. The real reason behind everything. The Empire. They're dying. Thompson joined him at the console, watching as ancient data scrolled across the screen. The images showed the Empire's history, a species that had merged with their machines thousands of years ago, becoming nearly immortal. But there was a cost. Their hybrid biology is breaking down, Miller explained. They can't adapt anymore, can't evolve. Each generation becomes more machine, less alive. They'd been searching for a solution for millennia. A transmission cut through their conversation. The Empire's supreme commander appeared on all screens, a being more machine than flesh, its eyes glowing with artificial light. You have exceeded all expectations, the commander's voice boomed. No species has ever mastered our technology so completely. You are the ones we have waited for. You planned this, Thompson replied, understanding dawning on her face. All of it. Every invasion, every battle. They were tests. Of course. The commander's metallic face shifted into something like a smile. We seeded 10,000 worlds with our technology, watching, waiting. Most species failed. They either destroyed themselves or became like us, trapped between flesh and machine, unable to grow further. Miller studied the data as the commander spoke. But we were different, he said. Instead of just copying your technology, we adapted it, made it our own. Yes, the commander's voice held a note of triumph. You evolved to interface with our systems without losing your biological advantage. You are what we tried to become. True hybrid beings, able to grow and change while mastering the machine. Thompson's eyes narrowed. So what happens now? We just surrender and let you harvest our abilities. Surrender? No. The commander laughed. You misunderstand. We are not here to conquer you. We are here to make you our successors. The massive fleet moved closer, but their weapons powered down. On Miller's screen, more data appeared, the Empire's complete technological database, freely offered. Our civilization is ending, the commander continued. We cannot adapt anymore, cannot change. But you can take what we built and make it better. You can succeed where we failed. Why should we trust you? Thompson demanded. After all the invasions, all the deaths. Because you have already won. The commander's image flickered. Look at your ships, your soldiers. You understand our technology better than we do now. You have surpassed us. The cycle of conquest ends because you have proven yourselves worthy of inheritance, not conquest. Miller's console beeped with new information. General, they're right. Their fleet. The weapons aren't charged for battle. They're configured for complete data transfer. They're giving us everything. The commander's final words echoed through the station. We shaped you, tested you, prepared you. Now our time is ending, and yours is beginning. The galaxy needs guardians who can grow, adapt, and protect. Earth is no longer our experiment. It is our successor. As the Empire fleet began its final approach, not as conquerors but as teachers, humanity faced a new challenge. They had not just survived the cycle of conquest, they had ended it by becoming something entirely new. Thompson looked out at the massive fleet, then back at the station's database containing millennia of knowledge. Well, Dr. Miller, it seems we have a lot to learn, and even more to improve upon. The cycle of conquest was over. The age of inheritance had begun. The massive ship appeared first as a dark spot against Jupiter's surface. Earth's most powerful telescopes focused on it, revealing a vessel that defied human understanding. It was bigger than anything humanity had ever built, a floating city of metal and light that stretched for miles. In the 2 months since Dr. Miller's warning, Earth had changed. Military bases transformed into joint operation centers. Old enemies became allies. Humanity had united, knowing they faced extinction if they failed. General Thompson stood in the Global Defense Command Center, watching live feeds from space telescopes. The alien ship had just passed Mars, its massive engines glowing with strange blue energy. "Status report," she commanded. "The ancient defense systems are responding, General," a young officer replied. "All sites show increased energy readings. Whatever these things are, they're waking up." Dr. Miller worked at a nearby console, analyzing data streams. The ship's design matches carvings found in the Sahara site. This is definitely them, the Eternal Empire. The ship's first transmission arrived without warning. Every screen, phone, and display device on Earth lit up with the same message. A figure appeared, tall and regal, wearing armor that seemed to shift colors like oil on water. "People of Earth," the figure spoke in perfect English. "We are the Eternal Empire, collectors of worlds. Your planet has been part of our great experiment for 50,000 years. Today, we come to claim our harvest." In the command center, Miller's hands flew across his keyboard. They're broadcasting in every language simultaneously. The translation is perfect. They've been studying us for a long time. The figure continued. "Your development has been remarkable. Each seeding has produced excellent results. You should be proud. Few worlds survive this long. Submit now, and your most worthy will be elevated to serve the Empire." General Thompson stepped forward. "Send our response." Earth's message was simple. "We decline your offer." For a moment, silence filled every channel. Then the figure laughed, a sound that sent chills through everyone who heard it. "How amusing. None have rejected us in 10,000 years. Your species shows unexpected spirit." The figure's expression hardened. "You have one Earth day to reconsider. After that, we begin standard Conquest protocols." The transmission ended. Miller rushed to General Thompson's side. "Standard Conquest protocols. That's mentioned in the Antarctic ruins. They follow the same pattern every time. They'll start with targeted strikes on military installations, then civilian centers." "Then we have one advantage," Thompson replied. "We know their playbook." The next 24 hours were the longest in human history. Every military base was on high alert. Civilian populations moved into underground shelters built using designs found in the ancient ruins. The Eternal Empire's ship took position over Earth's northern hemisphere, its massive form casting a shadow visible from the ground. As the deadline approached, General Thompson gathered her command staff. "All defense systems are online," she reported. "Whatever our ancestors left us, we're about to find out if it works." Dr. Miller studied readings from the ancient sites. Energy levels are higher than we've ever seen. The systems recognize the threat. They're responding to the Empire's presence. The deadline passed. The first attack came exactly as the Antarctic ruins predicted. Energy beams lanced down from the Empire's ship, targeting military bases. But something unexpected happened. Invisible shields flickered to life, deflecting the attacks. From hidden installations around the world, ancient weapons activated automatically, responding to the threat they were built to fight. In the command center, Miller watched in awe. It's working. The defensive systems, they're not just responding, they're adapting. Each attack makes them stronger. The Empire's ship launched a second wave, then a third. Each attack was met with increasingly effective defenses. For the first time in its long history of conquest, the Eternal Empire faced an opponent that could fight back. As the battle raged above, General Thompson turned to her staff. "Send word to all commands. Operation Counter-Strike begins now. Let's show them humanity's got some surprises of our own." The war for Earth had begun, and humanity wasn't going down without a fight. 2 weeks after destroying the Empire's command ship, Earth's defense forces gathered for their boldest move yet. Hundreds of ships, hybrid vessels combining human ingenuity with Empire technology, assembled in high orbit. Their target, the Empire's nearest base, a massive space station orbiting a distant moon of Saturn. Dr. Miller stood before the gathered pilots in the launch bay, pointing to a holographic display of their target. The station's design matches patterns we found in ruins under the Pacific Ocean. It's old, maybe one of their first outposts in our solar system, which means its systems are similar to the ones we've already mastered, General Thompson added. She wore a new uniform, designed to interface with both human and Empire tech. This is where they've been watching us from, studying us for thousands of years. In the 2 weeks since their victory, humanity had learned more about Empire technology than the aliens had expected possible. Each captured ship, each broken piece of equipment, revealed new secrets to human operators who could instinctively understand their workings. Remember your training, Thompson continued. Their reinforcements will arrive within days. We need to take that station before they get here. The attack began at dawn, Earth time. The hybrid fleet moved with perfect coordination, their human pilots working in harmony with alien systems that had been redesigned to serve Earth's needs. The station's defenses activated as they approached. Energy beams and automated fighters rushed out to meet them, but humanity had learned from their previous battle. They're using standard defense patterns, Miller observed from the command ship, just like the ruins predicted. They can't adapt beyond their programming. The human fleet split into smaller groups, using maneuvers that the Empire's automated systems couldn't predict. Fighters dove through gaps in the station's shields that shouldn't have existed, finding blind spots that only human intuition could spot. Inside the command ship, Miller monitored the battle through neural feeds connected to the pilots. Their reaction times are getting even faster, he reported to Thompson. The more we fight them, the better we understand their systems. The station's outer defenses fell within an hour. As Earth's ships drew closer, they detected something unexpected: life signs. There are Empire citizens aboard, Thompson announced to the fleet. Remember the mission. We're not here for revenge. Capture if possible. The boarding teams moved in, using their inherited understanding of Empire technology to bypass security systems that had kept out intruders for millennia. Each locked door opened at their touch. Each security measure fell before human adaptability. In the station's core, they found something extraordinary. Massive computers held records of every invasion, every harvest the Empire had conducted across thousands of worlds. General, Dr. Miller, you need to see this, Captain Thomas called from the station's main control room. We found their research data. Earth wasn't just another target. We were their greatest experiment. Miller's hands flew across alien controls that responded to his touch like they were made for him. They'd been trying to create the perfect species, one that could fully merge with their technology. Every invasion was a test, pushing us to evolve. And they succeeded, Thompson said quietly, just not the way they planned. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the station. Long-range sensors detected multiple ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel near Jupiter. Empire reinforcements, Miller announced. A lot of them. Looks like they sent everything they had in this sector. Thompson smiled grimly. Good, because now we have something they don't expect. She gestured to the station around them. We have their own fortress, their own weapons, and most importantly, we have their secrets. As the Empire fleet approached, humanity prepared for their greatest battle yet. This time, they weren't just defending their world. They were taking the fight to the enemy, using the very weapons that were meant to ensure their submission. The Empire was about to learn a harsh lesson. Their perfect creation had become their perfect nightmare. 5 years had passed since the Empire's final revelation. Earth had changed more in those years than in the previous century. The skyline of every major city now featured sleek towers of hybrid technology, combining human creativity with Empire engineering. Dr. Miller stood at the window of the Global Unity Tower, watching ships take off from the spaceport below. Some were purely human designs, others modified Empire vessels, and many were new creations that combined the best of both worlds. The latest reports from the outer colonies are in, General Thompson said, joining him at the window. She had aged little in the past 5 years, thanks to some of the Empire's more beneficial technologies. The terraforming of Mars is ahead of schedule. And the other worlds, the ones the Empire tested before us. Thompson brought up a holographic display showing hundreds of star systems. We've made contact with 30 so far. Most are still recovering from their failed trials. They're grateful for our help. The Empire had kept its word. Before their final transformation into pure energy beings, the ultimate evolution they couldn't achieve in their hybrid form, they had transferred all their knowledge to humanity. But more importantly, they had given them a mission: help other species avoid their mistakes. In the spaceport below, a ship from one of these recovering worlds was landing. Its design was odd, a mix of primitive technology and scattered Empire innovations that hadn't quite worked. Earth's scientists would help them understand what had gone wrong, teaching them to adapt technology to their own needs rather than forcing themselves to fit the machine. The Galactic Council meets tomorrow, Thompson reminded Miller. They'll want an update on the integration project. The Council was humanity's answer to the Empire's legacy. Instead of one species forcing its way of life on others, it was a cooperative of worlds working together, each bringing their unique perspectives to the challenge of advancing technology without losing their essence. Miller's tablet buzzed with a message from his research team. The new neural interface is ready for testing. This one should work for the Proxima species, even with their unique biology. A massive ship passed overhead, an Earth-designed vessel heading out on another rescue mission. After discovering how many worlds the Empire had tested and abandoned, humanity had launched a massive effort to find and help these civilizations. It's ironic, Thompson mused, watching the ship disappear into the clouds. The Empire spent thousands of years trying to create the perfect fusion of biology and technology. They never realized that the secret wasn't in forcing the fusion, but in letting each species find their own way. Miller nodded. The Empire's greatest mistake had been trying to make everyone follow their path. Humanity's strength came from understanding that every species needed to develop in its own unique way. Latest count, Thompson asked. 312 worlds have joined the Council, Miller replied, each one bringing something new to the table. The Centauri figured out how to improve our shield systems. The Proxima colonies revolutionized our agriculture. Even the youngest worlds have something to teach us. Below them, the city hummed with activity. Human children played with holographic toys, their minds naturally interfacing with technology in ways the Empire had only dreamed of. But they remained human, growing, changing, dreaming up new possibilities. The Empire wanted successors, Thompson said. Instead, they got something better. They got teachers. Miller smiled as another ship took off, carrying Earth's knowledge and help to distant stars. The cycle of conquest had ended not with a final victory, but with understanding. Humanity had not only survived its trial by fire, it had emerged as something new. Guardians of balance between flesh and machine, protectors of each species' right to find their own path. The age of conquest was over. The age of guidance had begun.